And we are back.
We're back.
Warriors way mindset. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that. I keep wanting to say warrior ways. Warriors way mindset. Part 3
with Rick.
Let's
go. All right. I want to get into a fun one with us. This is up your alley, and I'm excited to do it. The question that comes up all the time is going to be like, all right, what's my role in the relationship? This comes from both sides. Now, with the guys, I did a survey. I've got a few hundred men. So I did a survey for the guys because I want to know, like, guys, accountability. What's our job? What do we do? So what do we do? What's our job? I'm gonna share what my survey for my guys has come up with. And so this is all the guys. We broke it down into 9 things for our guys. And if you have any that you're like, I want to add, I would very much appreciate it.
Okay.
So, Chris, this is your side. This is what my boys came up with. Okay. Now, I want to have caveats on both sides for both the men and women, because there's going to be like the, oh yeah, well, what about? Let me crush your shit right now. This is for men, not boys. Just so you understand. Boys are conquesting and seeking trophies or status or driven by selfish motivations. Men build. Men are different than boys. So this is a list for men. So if you're like, well, my boyfriend, listen, men. I hope I said that hard enough for you. The men said, we'll take that job. We'll take protector as the job. This is an unpaid bodyguard. This person will put their life on the line so you don't have to. They'll put their physical body out of safety and security so that you have safety and security. This is a dangerous job. You agree so far?
Yep.
We'll take this one. I don't want you fighting. I've done training for fighting. You have not. And I'm better than you are at this. I'd rather it's on me than you. This is a dangerous, high sacrifice job. Next, guys are natural givers, the provider. We prefer this role. We prefer it. In fact, if you look at how dynamics generally, not all, generally are, guys, if you're like, hey, can I get some money? You're like, yeah, of course, take it, babe, no problem. No, we have no qualms with giving. If a dude's asking his girl, like, hey, babe, give me some money, she's like, what do you need it for? Mine is mine and yours is mine. I receive, I take. If I have money, why would I give it to you? You should be getting your own. Men don't have this argument nearly as often. You need $20, you need $100, I don't take it, babe. Go ahead, have fun, do whatever you do. I don't ask. Guys don't mind being the provider. We're happy to do that.
You know that at one point that was animal carcasses.
Correct.
And supplies.
Hunt and gather.
Right.
Sure.
Okay. And it's transferred to money because that is what we hunt and gather now.
Correct. Okay. Mundo. Yeah. We'll go do the dangerous stuff and we bring it to you and you distribute to the community to make sure everyone is eating and taken care of. We like that job. We don't mind that. We're happy to give. We're givers. Next one is being the fixers. If it's broken, we'll fix it. Doesn't matter if it's the plumbing, the roof, the car, the toilet, we'll fix it. We don't mind. Whatever it is, we'll figure it out. We'll YouTube it. You ever YouTube some shit you never did so you can fix it?
Yeah.
We don't mind. We'll get in there. We'll fix whatever it is. Happy to fix the door or whatever it is. No problem. We'll do it. Now, stability. This is where guys start going into, we're less emotionally reactive. Men, not boys, men, we're going to be more like, in a crisis, we're less likely to panic, generally. And this is where you see your military, you see your police officers, you see your firefighters. For the most part, if it's crisis, we're going to go in. We get focused. We're going to handle it. And we would prefer, when it comes to a crisis, we take lead.
Right.
Because it's going to be better choices, because we're not going to be like, we're going to be like, this has to be done, this has to be done, this has to be done. We can compartmentalize it down until the job is done. Guys say, we'll take on that. That's a heavy role. We'll take that one. Being objective. Guys feel like we're more objective and fair in overall justice in situations and tend to add less emotion to make it so there's a distribution of fairness. It'll be less emotionally involved and go, well, let's lean to what is right more than who is right. And guys feel like we do a better job.
Okay. I agree with that.
Okay. Empathy. This one was a contention when we brought this one up. This is why the empathy conversations came up. Men actually argued, I believe we're more empathetic than women. So we broke it down. I said, why do you do that? We have more compassion for everyone in the group, the women and the children. We can have empathy for all of you. If you need to vent, go ahead and vent. Our girls, our boys, our family, we can care about the feelings of all. Women exclude one member of the family for this in most cases. The man rarely gets empathy. Women will have empathy for the children and other people, but the man is excluded from the empathy category. That's why the guys would argue we don't have an exclusion. We can be empathetic for our boys and our girls. No problem. We can do that. But we don't exclude anybody. That was an argument the guys put down there.
That needs to be under protector. That should be put underneath of the protector role.
Well, why would you say that?
Because if you are not an empathetic person, you're less likely to put yourself in danger for the well-being of other people.
A motivator for being able to be a protector.
Right.
Fair enough. But for this part, this also doesn't have, this could be emotional, like protection also. This is part of being a safe place.
Right.
And so I would probably put it under like that safety security aspect. This is emotional safety. You can share with me and I can listen. But if it's the other way around, I'll be judged or condemned, or self-preservation will get kicked in. It's not the same. Presiders. We would rather be the leaders.
Yeah.
Now, before you go like, well, we can be the leaders, being the leader is not just control, power, and status. Being the leader means that if it goes wrong, it is on me also. As a good leader, and I do this with my groups and with my family, if it all goes wrong, that one was me.
Yep.
And if it all goes right, way to go, everybody. We made it work.
Yep.
It's not a glorious job, right? Because a man, not a boy, is going to say, I'm here to make sure that we are all good, not just you guys did something for me because I'm the boss. Not the same. This is a leader. So we'll take responsibility for failed plans. That's on us. And if you don't like our plan, it's on me if it goes wrong. So let me eat it. Yeah, you don't like it. I want to hear your opinion. But if it's like, it could go either way, I'm going to go my way. And if it goes wrong, that's me. Fair? Like, let them own it. We'll take that. Also, we talked yesterday about the social pressure versus the non-social pressure. Guys don't fall for social pressures like women do, but we fall for what our girls say. Mm-hmm. So if we let her who falls for social pressures lead, we're going to be led by the leash wherever she has an emotion that pulls her. But if we're leading, we just have to support and reassure our girl because we're not led by that leash. And we have to know ourselves to be able to do that. We'd rather have the leadership role.
Okay.
Something that women forget, boys and men all aim to please. We like to impress our girls. Look how strong I am. Look what I can do. Look what I created. Look what I drew. Look what I built. Look what I made. Look what I fixed. Look what I can do. We love to impress our girls. We want them to go. You've seen it in the gym where you're lifting. You're like, oh, damn, this is heavy. And then the cute girl's like, what are you doing? You're like, oh, I got triple strength all of a sudden because my girl's watching. Like, we do that. We want to say, look what I can jump off this thing, or I can do a thing. Check me out, babe. Yeah. Why do we have cheerleaders at the football team? Like, I want you to cheer me on. You're like, I'm about to win the game for that girl. Like, what, did you see me get that touchdown? Like, we want to impress our girls. And so when you start becoming not impressed, it makes it tough for us. We want to be proud. We want you to be like, I'm proud of my man. Mm-hmm. We love that. That fuels us. As guys, we do the hard job. That's what we talked about. I'll do the heavy lifting. You do the light stuff. I don't mind lifting like the 400-pound thing with you. You go ahead and pack up the thing, and then I'll move that thing too. Like, you do the detail work, I'll do the heavy lifting. I'll do the dirty jobs. I'll do the back-breaking work. I'll do the dirty, greasy thing. I'll get in there and get the crap is all over the place. I'll get in it. I'll do that job. I'll be on the roof. That's dangerous. I'll be under the car. That's dangerous. I'll do the dirty, heavy lifting jobs. That's our job. I'll shovel the driveway. And I know somebody like, well, he doesn't shovel my driveway. We'll get to where you do that in a second. So this is my 9 things my guys put down there. This is where I'm at so far. Do you have any that you would like? I would like to add that a man's job is also this. And this isn't father, by the way. This is just man in relationship. Okay. So not father. That's
Can you read the things without the paragraphs?
Yes.
Just
protector,
Yep.
provider, fixers, stable, and like, less emotional reaction, less crisis oriented, stable, objective, empathetic, leaders, aim to please, and the hard jobs.
The only thing that I'm stuck on the leadership thing right now, and it's because of my faith. I think there needs to be more on that discussion, but otherwise, I agree with everything that's on there. There's no point in getting into that. But
The
yeah,
semantics of how we lead,
right, matters.
but I mean, we'd still want the front row,
Right,
even
Well,
if it comes at
we're
liability.
supposed to be.
Right.
We that's what men are literally designed for on every faith on the planet.
Sure.
Okay.
So there's no argument on like.
No, none. I just I'm going to think about this more as we're going, but I think that covers everything.
One of my guys noticed as we did this list, they said every single thing on our list is to serve them.
Right. Man's job is to serve.
In case you're thinking these selfish assholes, everything on here is a sacrifice of us for them, our kids and our people, like our brothers, our wives, our kin. We take care of everybody. We will sacrifice ourselves. There's just a fun quote, Dalai Lama quote, when we asked about what about men. This is just funny, just anecdote. When asked what surprised him the most about humanity, he answered, man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices his money to recuperate his health. And then he's so anxious about the future, he doesn't enjoy the present. And the result of being that, he does not live in the present or the future. And then he lives as if he was never going to die, and then dies having never lived. Like each thing that we're sacrificing is to get to another thing that we're trying to have that we never get. It's really interesting watching how we sacrifice for everybody and don't realize we're missing some of the connectors.
Do you want to break down why that is?
No,
Because I can do it super quick.
go for it.
From birth, you are taught to get ready to walk, to get ready to talk. Then you start walking and talking, and you get ready for school. You get ready for kindergarten, ready to first grade, ready to middle school, ready to high school, ready to college, then ready to work. When you get ready to work, you get ready to find a woman. Then you get ready to become a parent. Your entire life is working for that next step. And that's exactly what he's talking about in that. There's never a moment where you're like, okay, enjoy what you have.
Well played. Bam. Well played. All right. Our guys took a little time on this one. We said, if this is the role of a man, what do you believe a role of a woman is supposed to be in a relationship? What's it supposed to be? I'll admit, it was crickets for a long time. We really were like,
Support system.
well, what does that mean? Like, we didn't know how to say it. We were like, we got to think about it. So we really tried breaking it down. Now, again, this list is for women. So note how much guys believe women are supposed to sacrifice. Just pay attention to how much we're saying they need to do. Just watch.
Okay.
Now, first off, let's get some of the needs out of the way that become the argument. We have comment sections. Let's get them out of the way. These are some of the needs that we're like, we do it too. So before your bullshit comes out, put these on your list of we agree, I'm going to do it too with you. The golden rule, and watch out for justifications. If you don't like it done to you, we won't do it to us. Easy argument. Let's have the conversation. We agree. We'll do the same thing. Loyalty, being trustworthy, reliability and showing up, be respectful, constantly try and take accountability for your part. We'll do it too. We'll do it too. You do it, we'll do it. We want that the same way. Communication, listen to understand and don't interrupt. Listen to understand, not wait to talk. So I just want to make sure that we put some of these ones that like it seems like these should be obvious ones, like those are we'll do them too ones. I'm just going to take those off because that's where everyone's going to want to go next. Let's get those out of the way. We agree. We'll do them too. Here's the ones that guys said, this is what I really want our women to be and or do, okay? First off, let's get the health one out the way, okay? Women have burden of beauty. What is the standards that us guys force on women? All right? Physical. Our guys said, on a 1 to 10, give us at least a 6. which is really just take care of yourself, like wash up and eat healthy, at least a little, try, and maybe work out once in a while. Like, just put some effort into it. Like, take care of yourself. We don't need you to be a 10. I just need you to put some effort in to be like, take care of yourself. Also, for any of you boys, if a woman gives you a child and her body has changed, it's the highest honor a woman can do for a man. And so if you shame her for giving you the highest honor that there is possible for a human being to give to another, you're a boy. You're not one of my guys. You wouldn't be in the Warriors way, because it's for men. So I'm calling you the fuck out on that one. That's Rick going hard.
That was very calm, hard, Rick.
That
Yeah.
was.
Like, respect your women. They gave you a human. It's the highest honor. They sacrificed their body for you to have a legacy. Like, respect that. But at least above average is where our guys were at, 6.
What were you about to say?
In that moment, I really recognized how different we communicate to people, because you said that and you were like, men, not boys. And I was like, absolutely fucking unacceptable. If you treat your woman that way after she gives you a child, like,
Go hard.
In the event that we ever do a part 4 of this, I would like to have a discussion about women giving men a child and the way that that should work, because that's absolutely not the case in today's society.
Well, there's a price tag that's not being talked about.
Chil-
And when it is talked about, it's, remember, gaslighting our own introspection. We're not being honest. And we'll get into truth if you want, and we can play it. Like, I'll go in with you. Like, you're not wrong. So I'm going to keep with my list.
Yeah, no, I just, again, if there's ever a part 4, that needs to be a discussion.
There's a thing. It's right there. Now, this is how lenient my men are. We're aware of the hot crazy scale, right? The hotter she is, the more likely the crazy will correspond with the hotness, right? Listen, argue or not argue, that shit's there.
I felt him look at me.
He's like, yeah. I could hear the sound. All right. What number do you think our guys were like, this is the acceptable number and under for the crazy scale?
For crazy?
Yeah.
Oh, men will tolerate a lot of crazy.
So what like on a 1 to 10, how crazy you think that's where guys are like, can't go above this number?
I would say an 8.
That's what I was gonna say too. It really depends.
It's 8.
Yeah.
The guys will tolerate an insane amount of crazy, and it actually is the take care of your body thing matters, because there is a thing. I've talked to all my dudes. I'm like, why did you put up with that crazy? So the burden of beauty for how we are attracted to people, it matters, because every single guy was like, I know it was nuts, but that ass, bro. like we have done crazy because you're like, oh man, it's just because of those boobs, man. I couldn't leave. You know, like
You're making the gesture of the men talking, and he's really over here making the fucking gesture.
it's a thing where we're like we have our cognitive dissonance where we're like, I know it's wrong, but that ass, dude. And you're like, I get it. Like, it's a thing, and this is part of us perpetuating our own, madness.
He asked that question, and I thought, okay, where would Lorena Bobbitt fit on a scale of 1 to 10? I would be like, she's a 9 or a 10. She cut dude's junk off in his sleep.
Threw it out
So
the
like
window,
8 is my number.
Right, just under your junk off. That's how far we'll tolerate. So maybe, listen, on that physical part of like 6 or up, keep that up. We'll tolerate more of your nuts. I'm just saying, the more you let it go, we tolerate maybe a little less. So, do squats. All right, so that's, of course, subjective. Beauty is subjective. What one person is attracted to, another one is. Just so you know, 0 of my guys required a size 0.
I believe that.
0 of my guys. I was like, which of you, she needs to be a certain pant size? That curse is put on you by women.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. 100%.
None. 0 of my guys said she needs to be this size and shape or else. Not one. I had 0. So when ladies go, you men are oppressing, it's not us.
I'm going to challenge this.
Please.
My requirement to that would be if I cannot throw you around like a rag doll. Right? But does that speak to more of my physical
Are we
stature?
lifting?
Right. Yes. Yes, we fucking are.
Better be lifted.
Because there are times that I caveman her through the house and just throw her over my shoulder and take her where she needs to go. And if I couldn't do that, that would be where that restriction comes in. But is that a problem of me?
I think it's a both.
Okay.
She should be at least doing enough to be caveman, and you should be doing enough to caveman. That's a balance.
It is a balance. I'll take that.
Listen, she can't gain 200 pounds, and you can't stop lifting.
I'll take that.
Like, we got to balance this out. We got to, listen, you do your thing, I do my thing. I'll make sure these go. You make sure this stays, and I'll be able to throw you up, and I'm going to get you, baby. Like, listen, I want to love you just like you want to love me. But I also can't let myself go, just as, like, you shouldn't either.
Right.
But with the pregnancy and the baby thing, we have way more leniency than you give us credit for.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, way more. We do not require you to go to, like, you know, you have to look like a 22-year-old Victoria's Secret model. We're like, that's not us. We're at 6, not 10. We don't need that. In fact, we know the hot crazy scale means when we start hitting 10s, the crazy's going to match. We're like, I don't want the drama. So the next thing when it comes to the part where I also kept this in the take care of yourself, willingness to grow. Work on yourself, not for us, because if you work on yourself, that is for us.
Right.
And this is where it's not selfish for what my guy said. I want her to be willing to grow, not just with me, but for herself, because it's attractive to me that she is also doing better for herself. And so if you're doing one of those things where I see mothers often go, I just give to everybody else and don't take care of me, our men do not like that. I want you to recharge your battery so that you can take care of more people, not start with a 20% battery and just wear yourself out and call it love. Take care of you so you can be better for others. This has been said a million times.
Oh, I know. We've been saying it on repeat for over almost a year now. We have full episodes dedicated to self-care.
Don't have to get into it. You've seen it.
Yep.
Okay. So that's my guys' word for, like, health-wise. Physical, mental, and willingness to grow. Just try. All right, next one. This list is the main list, and it's really effort over perfection. We do not require perfect. Just try. That's where our guys landed. All right, first one. Be nice. Kind and nice. Be nice. That was the first thing on the list. Next, be fun. We liked you because you were fun. If something breaks, we laugh. If we fall in the pool, we make out like a diamond commercial. Like, you don't go, you fucking asshole. Like, be fun. We like it when you're fun. Things are going to go wrong, and we can just have a moment where you pack your pockets full of sand. Just have fun. Be fun. We like that. Gratitude and appreciation. Yes, even for small things. Yes, general gratitude. Thank you for taking out the garbage. Thank you for grabbing the kids. Thank you for picking up that thing. Thank you for fixing the thing. Yes, we like to be appreciated. Remember, look what I can do. We want to impress our girls, so at least show some effort for gratitude for things that we do for you. We give. Encouraging and supportive. The reason we chose you is you were the best cheerleader. I'll say it again. The reason we chose you is out of all of the cheerleaders, you were the best. I liked how you made me feel the most. You were my best cheerleader. And somehow when you got the commitment, you quit cheering. When are cheerleaders needed? At the end of the game? Or when the game is, you're losing and you need defense. Now I'm watching more relationships where the more commitment a guy gets, the more lax it gets on encouragement. The more lax it gets on support. You know, and they start getting into different aspects of nagging, complaining, you're not enough, you're not doing this right. Why should I have to, be thankful for things that should be a given? And we start removing like gratitude and appreciation, and we stop cheering. I'll cheer if you win. I don't need you when I win. I need you when I'm down. Be my best cheerleader. This is where the guys will just keep encouraging. Also, we will do 1,000 times more for our cheerleader than we will a nagger and a complainer. Yep. We want to impress our girl. And the more impressed you get, even if I swept just a 3-foot area and you go, this 3-foot area is fucking awesome. And you're like, I can sweep more.
Yep.
You want to see, I bet you I can do more than that. You're like, if you make it look like this, I'll be blown away. Oh. I'll be rocking this floor. I want to impress my girl. You cheer us on, we'll do way more. The last one, I'd say I got caring and nurturing. Be caring and nurturing. Care. This is why the empathy thing was so good for you to go like, I actually care about you. Not just what you provide for me, but who you are. I care about my man for who he is. And if you don't like who your man is, that's your shit. Get out of there or, work on some stuff to make it so you guys can grow. But be caring and nurturing. Be that warm place for your guy. And then show effort. This is my last one. Show effort. Just be at least curious interest. You don't have to be involved. Like you're working on the car. You don't have to go like, all right, let me get the wrenches. You can at least go like, what are you working on, babe? I'm like, I'm working on this piece. Like, what does that do? This is the thing that makes it so this goes to this. You're like, oh, I didn't even know it did that. You're like, yeah, when you hit the gas pedal, this thing does this thing that goes to this, and that's why I got to fix it because it's not doing that. You're like, let me just give you some praise because that's cool, babe. You're awesome that you even know that. He's like, I'm going to fix the shit out of it. Baby, I'm going to fix this. He's like, well, now I know what you're fixing, and my dude's awesome. You'll make him feel good doing something you don't want to do, and you don't have to do, but you can at least have an interest in what it is. I don't care if it's his video game or he plays something or he's got an interest in a thing that's not your thing. Just at least be like, yeah, at least know why he likes it or what he's doing so I don't go like, you just doing your thing again? Well, why does he like it? Should just be interested. You don't have to play. And my last one is enthusiasm towards intimacy. There's a lot of relationships that have intimacy once a month. Some people, I've talked to people who was like twice a year, and they're like, or it's used as like this carrot that's dangled in front of them. It becomes weaponized. Yeah, it becomes weaponized. Intimacy is not meant to be a weapon. This is a connector. And if you use love as a weapon, you are on the problem team. This is, if you have a person who commits their life to be loyal to only you with their body, and then you disrespect this by saying, I will remove intimacy from our dynamic for any reason, that's a you thing. We should not be punishing people for commitment. And when you leave people like completely repressed, and then you hold over their head a standard of promise and commitment for vows, I will go right at you. Which vows mattered? Honor, respect, sickness and health, be there for you forever, commit my body to your body. I am committed to you only. Which ones mattered? Because when you broke all the other ones and then he was like, well, then I'll get it from somewhere else. He's the bad guy. You broke 5 vows and he broke 1. Who's really the bad one? We stop counting the other ones because the other one gets publicized harder. Like, which vows mattered? Just show enthusiasm towards love. Want your person. And if you don't want your person, you got conversations that need to be had. Maybe it's lose weight and get stronger. I don't know. But this is the stuff where like, I'm going to caveman you. We got to work on something to caveman each other here. Yeah. We got to do this. That's the list. I'll go quickly over it without explanation for the ladies. Be kind and nice. Be fun. Gratitude, appreciation. Encouraging and supportive. Caring, nurturing. Show effort to understand his stuff. And intimacy. Like, just be enthusiastic. I got 7 for the ladies, 9 for the guys. So, to sum it up, nurture, intimacy, kindness, appreciation, and support. Be nice. Cheer for me again. Be fun and a warm place, not cold. When I come home, I want to come home to Lois Lane, not kryptonite. I want to feel better, not terrible coming home. Now, this is the part where you have like, well, my feminine energy and being able to do my part. This is what the boys, or the guys, this is what our men came up with. Our guys are like, this is what we think it is. Is there anything that you would say, this is what I would say for the ladies before I get into the please do not category that the guys have, which is a little more comical?
Yes. So as a woman, I'm going to compile my own roles in the relationship the way that you had your men do it.
Before you do that, know that everything he listed off, I have.
Yeah?
Every box on his 7-part list has been checked by you, which is why when you said what does matter to woman, what is her role, I said a support system. You called it a cheerleading, but tell me that that's not what that is.
This is support.
He
Encouragement, support.
fucking nailed our marriage with that 7-part list. Good job, Warriors. You did your job.
Oh.
Okay.
That last one, the enthusiasm for intimacy, all I could think about was me baseball sliding across the bathroom floor.
That's for us.
Home run, Chris.
No,
I don't understand the lack of enthusiasm for being with your man. Like, he fucking chose you. Could have had any fucking woman in this world, and I'm the one who gets to wake up in the morning and look at you? Stop it. I have a free ticket to do whatever the fuck I want. I'm gonna take advantage of that.
Also, a big part of hypergamy, if you're with a guy that you wake up and you don't think that, this is something where you may have been choosing for an unhealthy reason. You know, and that gets into the part where that's why hypergamy is there. Us guys, the wolves don't stop hunting just because we made a commitment to somebody. The wolves still hunt, so we still need to make sure we keep our tools sharp. But if your girl's waking up and she looks at you and goes, I can do so much better than you, you're going to start watching things fall apart. We do need to keep raising our level. And then not just financially, like in all aspects, we need to keep working on us. That's why the Warrior's Way is what it is you need to keep working on you for you, and she will love that you're raising your level because we need to be better. The wolves still hunt, and you see guys get complacent. You see guys stop doing chivalry. You see guys stop taking her on dates. You see guys like just let themselves go. Just because you made a commitment doesn't mean the wolves stop hunting. And if she keeps her game up and you lose yours, and she starts waking up going, I can do so much better than you, that's a problem. And this gets into a really nasty question. When should a woman settle?
Never.
Dang, we got that never quick. All right. How do you know if you have?
Waking up every single morning saying, I can't fucking look at you today.
So then you should never settle. How do we know the criteria for I just settled?
I wish they would do this. I don't understand why they can't do that. You should just know what I want.
Well, not understanding why somebody does something means I didn't ask any questions and I didn't listen. So because you're not asking questions, they're not good?
So say the questions are asked and the answers are danced about and there's not a direct answer.
You know what that means? You're not safe to talk to. If the guy dances around the answers, it means he can't trust talking to you because you've probably shown enough reactions that I can't actually say things to you without knowing you're going to lose your shit. We're not going to have a conversation. We're going to have a condemnation. You want information to use as a weapon, not for us to grow. And so if you want to know something that's going to be, every conversation that goes this way, you expose that you are going to go into self-preservation and not some sort of growth or communication.
Right. That is a learned behavior for men over micro instances throughout a relationship.
Correct.
That is
Okay.
factual. We've talked about that.
So at what point does a woman say, well, I can't tolerate this anymore because you're not willing to work on that?
She's not working on her. So this is where there's a point where you have a standard.
Okay,
We'll get
so-
into expectations on this.
Right, but if a woman's in a relationship with a man
Sure.
who has never done that to him, yet he's still reacting that way, if he's not willing to work on himself, she is settling for that man.
You chose him for a reason. This is her again.
Can you explain what you just meant?
So if a woman and a man are in a relationship,
Sure.
and from the beginning she recognizes like this man has so much potential, he's a damaged man, like he has been run through by woman after woman, and he can't trust anybody, and that woman sees that within him, that he can grow, he be so much more capable at things, he can be so much more successful, and she says,
Is she cheerleading and doing
Yes,
the support
doing
things?
everything.
Okay.
She's doing all
okay.
that.
Okay.
but the
I'm just
man
trying
is
to understand
but the man is bringing his past experiences from the past woman into the current relationship
because he hasn't done the work on himself.
because he hasn't done the work
Okay.
on himself.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point, because at this point the woman's not doing anything wrong,
Hold
she's trying to,
There is something wrong.
okay,
Because hypergamy states that a woman dates equal and up, at least at her level or higher. And if any woman is dating down just to begin with, there's something wrong. Something wrong with the way she's choosing. There's a worth thing or something where worthiness. There's something. If a woman dates down, it's hypergamy. And that goes into a totally different thing where you start going like, I'm dating from wounds. And if you're trying to rescue broken strays, there's an issue that we've got here because you're not dating equal or up anymore. Women have this, guys don't have this. We can date down and it's actually healthy. But women, if you date down, there will be problems in the relationship, period.
Okay.
It will start create resentment. You still start creating things. And you got into the potential aspect of it, which gets into expectations of what I believe you could do.
Right.
And there's 3 types of expectations that kill relationships, and I can happily break those down. So is the woman doing something wrong? Well, you chose from the beginning a broken stray. So the reason you chose is you chose a fixer-upper. But now you have an expectation that the fixer-upper needs to be something more than it ever claimed to be or ever said that it was going to be. Well, you just picked one that does what it does. So at what point is maybe when you realize I'm choosing from wounds and I'm not choosing based on our actual connection or potential together. I want to be the hero in your story. I want to rescue you. I want to build you up. If you're choosing from this, you will have problems because you chose one that has a lot of problems.
But that's what a marriage is wanting to build up one another and be that
This is
support
before
system.
marriage.
Right, but that's what you're working towards.
Sure.
So if you
We
can't
still
show
have to
that in the
measure-
beginning.
We still have to measure connection for us first. Now, is it impossible? If you have the beginning sentence, when should a woman settle, in your heart, there will always be a problem. The reason why? It's a trick question. If you have the idea that I'm settling in the first place, you're always going to feel like it's not enough, even if it is. Think about it for a second.
Right. But what if that's not the thought in the beginning? What if it's 2 years in and she's starting to recognize he's not willing to do anything to work on himself? At this point, am I just settling for him?
It's just not a match.
That's what he was talking about, though, when she wakes up one morning and goes, I can do so much better. This comes down to men having to constantly keep our tools sharp because there are other predators that we have to keep at bay. This comes down to being a protector and a leader and a provider and being able to caveman you when I'm in my 60s. Like, I'm understanding both of you, which is why I asked you to break things down.
Yes.
There's a lot of fucking work that comes into us. This is why we constantly say, when you become stagnant, your death begins.
Right.
This is no different than beating that Christmas tree with a newspaper.
Correct, Amon?
Right. This is what we have to do. So when I asked you to tell me what you mean by that and to explain that, it's because I'm now getting tools from you to not fail you in the future because I know what to expect from you. I'm sharpening my tools while you talk.
Right.
He is right, and there is a benefit there. And what you're arguing is the same arguments that we get in the emails where women are not able to effectively communicate to their men, and they've stopped giving them the intimacy, not sexual intimacy, but
Right.
all of the intimacy, and their relationship is failing. Your argument to this was becoming that because you were in your head about settling.
Okay. Well, I'm going to disagree. It's an argument because I'm not feeling any negative emotions in this and I'm not feeling like I'm having to defend anything.
The definition of an argument is two opposing points. So it's not a negative thing.
Okay.
I could call it a debate if you would like. Opposing discussion.
Okay.
I don't mean argument from like a fight standpoint.
Right.
Okay. But he asked you a question that is a difficult thing to answer, and you went to where you went. He already knew it was a trick question, and it led you. That was a leading question.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
So-
perfect to begin with. I thought we were just doing a hypothetical.
No,
Yeah, that's what I thought we were doing. I
right.
disagree.
But you gave the opportunity for her to make the argument that all the women in our emails make.
Perfect.
And she did.
Which you're doing great. This is good.
But I was the observer in all of that. So in hearing what she was saying, I'm able to level myself up because I just got to hear my woman make points that are important to her.
absolutely.
So like, this is not a bad thing, babe. This is
I
very
am so confused right now. What do you mean you learned something from that?
because there are things that you expect of me.
Right.
And you basically just told him that I am required to continue to grow, to try to be the better man, to make sure that you never wake up and go, I can do so much better than him. Because 2 years into a marriage, women go, well, what if he's not listening anymore? And what if he's not trying to grow? And what if he's not trying to do better? You just told him your expectations of me as a husband in a hypothetical scenario.
Right.
And because I'm paying attention, I know that I don't get to, I have to stay on my game. I have to make sure that I continue to be the man that you fell in love with in order to keep the intimacy that you provide and the cheerleading that you provide in our marriage so that doesn't die.
Right.
I'm not going to become stagnant because I don't want the cheerleading and the intimacy to become stagnant. And you just laid that out.
Well,
Okay.
there's a bit of yes and no in this one. The way that you take responsibility for that role is highly admirable. But in our hypothetical, she wasn't mentioning you.
No, I know that.
That's why it's like you were saying for me, and she actually wasn't saying for you, but you may feel connection to like I will take that on though.
Right.
I
Well,
find value.
And this falls right back into the people listening to the emails that we read and not be involved in that situation and go, I can relate this to my life.
Right.
And then their life gets better because they're listening to other people's bullshit.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I got a room to grow here. I do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I'm getting from all of that. That's
Okay.
why I was so engaged in what was just happening because I was working through things in the
Yeah.
moment.
And you're doing great too. And there also seems to be an emotional connection to it. And so this may be like there's some validity to something here. It's like you've seen enough of it to where you're like, no, there's a fucking thing.
No,
So it may
it's
be.
more of
The common, maybe even enough women have said,
Oh, we hear that every day.
Which
it is a
good.
nonstop thing, and I think the settling is certainly a.
It's a
I
trap.
wasn't trying to defend women settling. That's
I didn't
you asked me a
I
question.
didn't take it
so I'm
that way.
trying-
I didn't
okay.
take it that way at all.
Settling does boil down to roots of someone having a problem with what they are perceiving in reality.
And creating a comparison to make
Right.
it so it should be something different.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the women in the mindsets of the settling, so back into the situation where that's 2 years in and he's not wanting to grow and work on himself, instead of viewing that as the woman settling, how can she view that to be more productive in the situation?
There's going to have to be some honest inventory. What do
Okay.
we really have here? And is this going in a direction that could work for my authenticity and their authenticity? To expect another person to be different is to fail from the start. So let's go into, I'm going to share 3 different types of expectations for people.
Okay.
Because expectations kill relationships. They do. It's the leading cause of disappointment. Facts.
Can you repeat that for me?
Expectations are the leading cause of disappointment.
Yes.
I keep my expectations low, so I'm never disappointed.
I don't have them. I can't be disappointed. All right, there's 3 kinds of expectations. First off, there's the standard. We've been talking about that. This is the beginning of the relationship where she thinks all your jokes are funny and you're so interesting and I love your hobbies and things are so cool and you're awesome and I'm really engaged and I'm excited with intimacy, like the beginning honeymoon phase, and he's really chivalrous and above and beyond and gets you the flowers and goes out and he's gonna the dates every week and I can't wait to see you and the happy text messages and there's so much engagement. And then you give each other more commitment, move in with each other, and then it starts getting like, well, now your hobbies start getting different, and now you're impeding, and your friends come over too much, and like now it's our place, and you're impeding on my routine, and I'm on yours, and then it starts changing, and then the more commitment, it starts to change. After a while, pending kids, and all the rules have changed for the dynamic we never talked about. Well, my standard of which I'm comparing you to, my expectation is comparing you to you. You used to do a thing, and now you're not doing those text messages in the day, and you don't take me on dates anymore, or you have no enthusiasm for his things, or his jokes aren't funny to you anymore. Like, all of the things that made us choose each other stopped, and I'm now comparing you to you. That is a standard. This is standard expectations. You set a precedent and then stop doing the precedent. We're like, well, damn, we should have maybe date night, or we should have our quality time, or something where we do effort to do the standards that we have set to make us choose each other.
In all of that you just laid out in the dating phase, both parties make each other a priority.
Yep.
And then as the commitment continues, the priorities shift,
Correct?
and they both start feeling like, well, you used to do this, you used to do that.
Because you started changing the things that are valuable and you get moved down the list. Now, it's also important, if you think you're supposed to be number 1 on somebody's list, probably not going to work. I don't believe that my partner, I'm not number 1 on her list and she's not number 1 on mine. I am. Like, for my list, let's go, if you've got faith, God is first, then me. I am first. Why me? Because if I am good, I can take care of everybody better. Remember, the leader who is the most generous, most compassionate, most empathetic, they need the most because they make sure everyone else eats. So the more I have, the more everybody at my table benefits. So I got to work on me. I need to do that. And she should for her too. I would prefer her be a priority over me. Take care of you because she also takes care of others. The more that she is good, the more others are good. I prefer that list to be that way. Now, after that, she has kids I didn't make. I raise, didn't make. So I'm okay with those kids being higher than me. Those are your kin. Fair enough.
Are you married?
We are legally not married, but we have fully committed ourselves to each other.
Okay.
So we had done commitment to each other. And so, for all intents and purposes, we live together in full commitment to each other.
So then why would you want to be put second to her kids?
Those are her kin. Those are her kids. Like, the kids are a priority for them. Now, for me, because like I don't listen, there's a reality to this for the guys, and this is where props to all step parents, men and women, all step parents who take on this incredibly selfless job to raise other people's children. Step parents get like 1/10 of the gratitude a parent does for doing the same sacrifice by choice, not obligation.
Right.
This is a very, very, very difficult job. And even my stepdad, like, I had the same thing. It was like a decade and a half before I go, holy crap, you're one of the best dudes in my life. And man, you treat those people not good.
Yep.
And I'm in that boat where I'm like, these girls don't get it yet.
But they will.
They don't get it yet. But I'm sacrificing me by choice, not because, I got this girl pregnant. No, I choose them too. So I say, listen, if anything happens where we split, I don't get to take any of them.
Right.
I lose everything. That's the risk of a step parent. I lose everything. Highest risk job, huge gap in the reward to like risk category. So I'm in that, and I'm aware of that, and I'm okay with it. I chose it. I picked it. I don't get to take the kids, so she has to make sure these kids are a priority. Fair enough. I'm okay with it. I'm not even an argument. That's where I'm standing.
This is going to be one of those things that you and I strongly disagree on.
Go for it.
I believe that your partner should come first. If you're married or you're living as if you're married, you've made a vow, a covenant between you and God and your woman. State doesn't need to be involved to legalize things. You can make a vow and be honorable with it. So
Yes.
for all sakes of arguments, let's call you married.
Okay.
You are going to live the rest of your life with this woman. That's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
She plans the same way. Eventually, your kids are going to move out and start their own families.
Yes.
So if you are not a priority to your partner and the kids override everything in the house and you take second, third, fourth, or fifth place in the home, it changes the leadership, it changes the protectant, it changes the provider, it changes the team structure, the support system. I truly believe your partner comes first and you guys run the house as a cohesive unit.
It's fair argument.
Okay.
No, a fair argument, and like worth the conversation.
Okay.
So I wouldn't even say a disagreement. I'd be like, I think where she's at and I'm at, that had to be her protection system for her priority, and I have to either accept it or leave.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, well, I'll accept at this point, but worthy conversation.
Okay.
So no discredit. Worthy conversation shall be done. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that next was where her mom was, and I know that she moved me up to where mom is. I'm at the same level as mom. So that's where I know I'm at least, like, for her though, I know that job is a priority for her because of her identity. She's a type 3. She's the achiever type. And so I know that. And I also had to choose that too. But this is where we each have to identify where are we coming from, what are our strengths, what's our relationship, and what are our things. I am not number one on her list. She's also not number one on my list.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, we're okay with that part of it.
Right. So you're at an agreement.
We're at an agreement.
Okay.
Like, for our dynamic, we're like, we can agree. And like, how many things are on our list? Like, we have hundreds of things on the list. So I'm in like the top 5. I'm like, I can't really be too shitty about it.
Right.
That's at least where I stand. I don't need to be the most important because I want her to have her things and work on her stuff and be proud of herself. And I want those too. So I choose that. That's where I pick. That's our agreement. But good argument on like, where should I fit with the kids? Because I do also put them under my umbrella too.
Right. Well, right. They're under your umbrella.
Yeah.
In the see, we're gonna really side rail. We should probably just move on because this will take up an entire conversation.
All right. Put a pin in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in the
Actually,
event
I
that
love
there's a part 4, we should get into that.
That's
Because I'm willing to bet that if your kids' lives were in danger, your stepkids' lives were in danger, you would put yourself in harm's way. So you are willing to lay your life down for kids who aren't yours. As a step parent, you should be a priority over the kids because it is your duty to protect them.
your argument is sound.
Yeah. Part 4. We're gonna have to do it again eventually, anyways.
Fair enough.
This because you got another book coming out. And
That's true. That's fair. Okay. So right now, the whole thing comes down to comparison, but also this is why I value so highly know thyself. This is, like I said, first section is know thyself. The next whole chunk is know thy enemies. This is the stuff that we have to fight in us. And then the last section gets into know how to battle your own things. This is the battlefield of the mind. That's why I even have a podcast. Like, how do you fight it? How do you do anything with it? So when I'm working with the guys, that's the first 14 weeks is just that. And then after that, we go into, special tactics. We go into advanced training. So for this one, it's a comparison. When should a woman settle? And you say never. She should never settle. I'm like, when should a man settle then?
Never.
Yeah, I should never settle. That means we should always be looking for something better.
That means that you should be willing to. No, that means that you need to seek a partner who is constantly willing to grow and hold accountability for their incorrect actions.
Okay, now, how do I measure better? Because if it's like, let's say, go through the list, height, finances, integrity. You start going through all the list of all the things. And let's say you meet a dude who's like matches all the same stuff, but he's 2 inches taller and makes an extra 6 figures.
people wouldn't see that as settling.
Yeah.
Oh, we just upgraded.
Right.
I upgraded. Okay. And this guy, he's a lawyer, but I like the doctor better. So I'm going to go to doctor now. I'm going to upgrade. Oh, this guy's actually an entrepreneur and he's a multimillionaire. So I'm going to upgrade.
Well, that's the thought process of a disposable society.
Correctamundo. So the whole concept of when do I call it settling is based on which criteria. And now we have too many superficial ones that there's always another one better. Mm-hmm. So then when should someone settle? Now this is obviously sounding more female to male because guys aren't looking for those things. We're not looking at your bank account, but women do. Mm-hmm. Safety, security. So women do. So then when should a man feel like he's settling, especially if it's based on beauty?
If it's based on beauty?
Shit. That gets nasty.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is a woman who lacks hygiene.
Could be that too.
Yeah.
Or since beauty is a depreciating asset, and if you just look at the unfairness of how this system of beauty and performance works, just so you can say, when would statistically, just average wise, women have higher beauty? Older or younger?
Oh, definitely younger.
Younger. Youth is in your favor when it comes to natural beauty. That's just how that works. So like a younger woman, early 20s, mid 20s, that's going to be the advantage women. Mm-hmm. Guys in this age, especially college and things like this, status, provision, anything that would make it so we are to be chosen is only based on potential at this point, which is also the next expectation. It's only based on what could be. What you could do. He's studying to be a whatever. He's a musician and gonna be this, or he has potential to be great at this, or he's getting his master's in this. Like there's potential is there. Women, advantage. Guys, we don't have a house, we don't have the car, we don't have a job, we don't have a business, we don't have anything. It's all based on what could be. That's our best play right now. And our only thing is we can be tough. Like that's our only real play. Be cool, have swag. Otherwise, we don't got shit. Advantage women. All right, we start moving up the ladder. We start getting our shit together. We get the good job. We get the whatever. We build a business. We start getting cars and we get a house and we get our shit. Now it gets to a point where beauty and like our status of our provision starts to balance out. We start getting maybe like early 30s or whatever. It balances out. Beauty to status matters. Now, as we start going older, guys have to keep performing. We have burden of performance. We have to keep improving. We have to keep improving. Does beauty also go up or down as women age?
Goes down.
So then their value for beauty goes down as a man's value up into the 40s starts getting higher and higher. This gets complicated because I understand women want to be like subjectively loved for more than their beauty, but they've based all the criteria to choose them on beauty.
You can go back to watch part 1 of everything that we're getting into to really deep dive this in case you guys missed that. I also think that it's important when you ask questions about settling that you lead with how you mean to settle.
Correct.
Because the initial conversation that was had is not the conversation that's currently now being had.
Also correct.
And I am having such a hard time keeping up.
My dude, I love your honesty too. I'm going somewhere with this. This is where-
No, you are, and I'm following it, but like, yeah. Anyways, yeah,
I love that I do this to you.
yeah. This is how we grow.
Yeah.
This is how we build each other up and stay strong. So it's important to have your thoughts questioned, I guess.
We challenge everything. That's how we grow. Yeah, for sure. All right. So now women are depreciating beauty. Men are appreciating up to like the 40s and then start getting even 40s to 50s range. Guys are killing. Like we're at our peak and we start peaking out hard around our 40s. We start like we got our shit together. We have loyalty. We're not out hunting like assholes. We have our shit together. We are men now. And we are doing better, but women's beauty will depreciate. It's natural nature. That's how it will work. When does the settle thing start to apply to who? If people are never supposed to settle, well, women should be out always upgrading their dude when they're young. But then once their dude is upgraded beyond them, should he be upgrading to a younger girl then? The never settle answer is massively flawed when it comes to loyalty and longevity and life together and growing together. And so when people say, when should someone settle? And they say never, women win at the beginning, guys win later. That's a failed comparison system for relationships.
I disagree.
Go for it.
When I think of never settling, I would never settle for a man putting his hands on me.
This is
I'd say-
this is a non-negotiable for how you like hold yourself, but that wouldn't
Okay.
necessarily need a relationship for somebody putting their hands on you.
Right, but in the context of relationships, that's what you were asking about.
This is non-negotiables.
Yeah, that's zero tolerance.
Like boundaries
right.
and non-negotiables are different. This has nothing to do with like how I choose a mate. This is going to
Okay.
this is my no-fly zone, like cheating, physical abuse.
Okay.
There's certain like no-fly zones. Those are
So-
non-negotiables for just the standards you hold yourself to,
But those are the things that people will use in context when they say, well, I would never settle for that.
which is fine. That's a non-negotiable to say that's a deal breaker.
This is why I just said what I said.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the same place you are, and
Right.
I'm working through this now because I agree. And I didn't put it as a non-negotiable because we hear people go, well, he quit working. What do I do? And I view that as settling, right?
Right.
So we are on the same page of all of this,
Yeah.
and he went a totally different direction, and I'm over here trying to catch up.
Okay.
So there
So-
are boundaries and
I
non-negotiables.
hate this.
So what you're saying is that people are using the term settle in place of non-negotiables, and they are getting themselves into situations where they feel as if they are settling because they did not have the
Know thyself enough to be able to pull the trigger on their
Right.
standards.
Yep.
And because they have the lack of maybe confidence or the lack of knowing thyself in order to go like, this is a deal breaker for me. I can't be with an abusive person. I can't be with a person who doesn't give me that safety, security aspect of it. I can't be with somebody who will put no effort. Willingness is important. Remember, even on the women's list, willingness. It's not perfection, just willingness. It's the most important piece. Are you trying? And if they're like, I'm not going to try for you, non-negotiable. Well, then I guess we're going to grow apart inevitably. This is a deal breaker.
we have really dummied down language as a society to
just
the
fucking
point
thinking
that
that.
It's correct.
we have literally constructed abusive relationships and situations for ourselves because oh babe, you shouldn't settle for that.
Right.
Oh my gosh, he spends his money that way and you guys couldn't pay rent. I would never settle for that.
Right. And this is also why people who have boundaries are called controlling. This
Right.
this is by design. This is where I'm literally playing through all of this right now, which is why I'm having the issues that I'm currently
Yeah.
having sitting here. But what you came to is the reason that there are structures for a debate. It's why
Right.
there are rules laid out of what is and what is not acceptable. Because the question that was asked, we answered with our terminology.
Right.
And we both were wrong with our terminology from what he was talking about. And that when should you settle, with everything he's laid out, the answer is obvious. But when it was initially asked, it's not obvious because of our cognitive biases and the things that we've said. I almost feel like that was dirty business, bro.
A little bit.
I do
Because
feel like that
but
was.
but it's common language.
Right.
And this is why you are correct.
It's not common language,
This-
though.
well, this
we
is-
have changed language
Right.
as Americans.
You're right. And this has become the general way that people are talking. And why I say this is I have the same types of comment sections you do.
Mhm.
And this is where, like, this is the way that the conversation goes. And you can see truth becomes subjective. You can see reality becomes opinion. You can see that these things aren't existing anymore because we're altering the meaning of words to be what we want them to, so we are right. You are correct. It is dirty business. The entire industry of what people are doing with love is dirty business.
And it's a profitable one.
Oh, it's
Very
yeah.
profitable.
Yeah, and it's also false. It's a fallacy.
I need to fucking process this right now. Holy shit.
Good catch. Well done.
Really, like, talk about greed is the biggest sin that we see in America right now. People are going out of their way to do anything they can to catch clout,
Yeah.
even if it's presenting a kink on an app that children use because it makes them thousands of dollars a week doing it.
Well-
They have made relationships and marriage a scam
Yeah.
Correct.
in America.
You are right.
Because they
Holy
removed
shit.
they removed the faith aspect from religion. Or from marriage. It's no longer holy matrimony. It's a certificate now. Marriage doesn't have the same meaning that it had 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Vows have changed. Look at TikTok. As women are ripping apart vows when you want to honor and obey, and they're like, no. Oh, but you want the financial security and the sickness
Right.
and health and all that other shit. Like, that is very much a thing.
We're changing the rules to match
Yeah.
our greed
And
and our
Re-
addictions.
yeah, reality of relationships are we blew up on the internet because we have a good relationship.
You guys are
That's
being
insane.
honest about the shortcomings of your relationship, and people are starving for authenticity in a world of fake.
And in a society where they have destroyed the family and marketing Lifetime movies
Correct.
or fucking Jada Pinkett Smith
Yeah.
and everything that's come out with their relationship, we're getting extremes to both opposite ends. And there is no real depiction of what it is in society. Holy shit. They're making so much money off of dysfunction, and it's heartbreaking.
We're feeding them.
We are.
If you sell a dream, people will constantly buy it because dreams cannot be had. Goals can be achieved. Dreams are just that. They're not reality.
But without action.
But people will continuously buy the dream. It's why magic pills are so successful in terms of
Well,
marketing.
It's the quick fix. They treat symptoms and not
Right.
work on like the actual. It's the answers aren't the solutions. When I made that video, I know that it gets lost on people all the time, and I show them like the Rubik's cube. I'm like, this is a solved Rubik's cube. All the colors on each side are the same, but mine isn't. And you'll watch some guru, and you'll get the greens, and like I got the greens, and the rest of it's still unsolved. And you're like, well, how do I solve the rest of it? And you're trying to find the answers. I know it's supposed to be all the sides look like this, but in order to do it, it seems like I have to mess up my greens to get the other side, and I'm not willing to do that. So I'm going to just stick with my finances are doing good, or my fitness is off the charts, or, you know, my whatever is really good, but I don't want to work on the other parts of me. And we become very one-dimensional and try and market ourselves as like gurus or complete. Are you working on solving all your parts? And you're going to have to mess up some of the other ones as lower priority while I work on the other one to solve all the sides. People aren't doing this. There's a lot of accountability and a lot of growth and a lot of challenges and a lot of scary stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to ask you, babe, as somebody who can solve a Rubik's Cube, because we challenge each
yeah.
other and race to solve, how much did that make sense to you?
A lot.
Right?
It makes a lot of sense because in solving the Rubik's Cube, you're messing up other sides to
Everything.
get one square in its correct spot.
Right. And it's all a process.
And it's all a process, but the whole process connects to one another.
Correct.
If you can do all the steps out of order, you're not going to get the same result. So unless you understand the steps and, like you said, you have to mess up one thing to get to another point, that made a lot of fucking sense.
So
And sometimes you got to go back and fix your mistakes and fix
Right.
the errors. There's a lot of work that goes into that. And understanding the algorithm of a Rubik's Cube is one thing, but if you only know the movements and you mess up the movement, you have to start from scratch.
Right.
Instead of going, okay, I know what I need to do next because I understand what I'm doing. That one-dimensional that was huge for me. That was okay. I'm really enjoying part 3. This is better than part 1 and part 2. My thought process
That's
is
so
the challenge,
subjective.
and
Well, like-
I'm really catching. I'm enjoying this.
The great thing about a
Again.
Rubik's Cube, though, is that you don't throw it away because you messed it up.
Right, you fix it.
You fix it. There's a
Well,
way to
there's-
fix it.
There's a problem with solving your Rubik's Cube, though. You get rewarded for not doing it. Because you can just go watch Netflix, or you can go get sweets, or you can go get on dating sites, or you can scroll TikToks, and you can scroll Instagram, and you can scroll whatever. You can go actually get rewarded and get, dopamine hits from not working on your Rubik's Cube. And you can also blame why your cube's not solved on other people to make it so you don't have to also. In fact, doing the work to figure all of the things out you're talking about is very frustrating, but I get rewarded for not doing it. Well, that complicates my entire process. Because I can get all of these dopamine rushes from everything to not work on my cube. Well,
Yes.
now I have to have discipline and moderation and some sort of systems or routines. I have to put time aside. I have to be deliberate in my understanding and action. I have to grow with people. Well, what if you're not taught to do that, or you don't have those resources, and so you just get into distractions? My friends like to party.
Mhm.
Damn it. Now we're stuck again. We know the answers, but I don't know the solution. That's why that video is so tricky, is because people go like, yeah, it makes sense, logically, yeah. It's the reason our lives are the way that they are. You know what the answer is. I know what, healthy is supposed to be healthy. I get it, healthy. Well, why aren't you doing the things that make it do that? Well, I just don't know how to do that. You know the answer.
Yeah, I think they do know how to do it, though. I think that it comes down to discipline.
Could be.
I think that learning to solve your Rubik's Cube comes down to discipline, delayed gratification,
Trial and error.
Sure.
giving up comfort.
Yeah, well, there's motivation, discipline, routines, systems. Sure, people also have to learn that. I do hours of training on motivation to discipline to systems. There's a thing for sure, but people don't know that training yet, and it's difficult to discern through all the stuff. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's too much information. This is how choice theory works. When they did a study for jams and jellies, and they had 22 of them out, and they said, which one's your favorite one? When they did that to say, buy your favorite one, like people had too many options and they just got overloaded and didn't buy any.
Right.
But when they had 3, well, then they were able to go like, well, out of these 3, that's my favorite. And sales were like 70% higher when there's 3 choices versus 22. Well, right now we're at thousands.
You also get that same sales go up when you have 3 versus 1 because you are giving your client the opportunity to choose.
Well, even 2. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's, the forced choice options for sure. Well, right now, when the options for distractions are unlimited, that's very difficult. How many things are there to watch on Netflix?
Oh gosh, thousands.
How many things have you start adding in anything? Add in Hulu, Disney, add in Prime. Start just adding in how many options are just for entertainment. And now let's throw in music. How many apps are there for music? And then how many things are there to just distract you with, games or some other shopping? Pick a thing. Pick a distraction. You get dopamine rushes from not working on your cube. It's fun too, and it's good. That's why it's hard.
Is it good though?
It
If-
feels good. It comes in through pleasure. That's
Okay.
why.
I was about to say, comparing like relationship issues to a Rubik's Cube, it is a good comparison. 20-year relationships where they haven't been on good terms for 10 years of that. Walking home to an unfinished Rubik's Cube sitting in your closet versus coming home to the woman who makes you hate yourself are 2 different situations, though. So you can still go out and get those dopamine releases. Coming home to that situation is a stark contrast to a Rubik's Cube hidden somewhere.
That's why we numb.
Yeah.
I need to do something that makes me feel good because I'm about to walk into kryptonite and not Lois Lane.
Escapisms.
Yeah. I need
You
to-
call it numbing. I've always called it escapism.
Well, drinking is usually to numb.
Right, but it is an escapism.
Sure. It's yeah. We're agreeing with different words.
Yeah.
So in those moments of people feeling good, it's a short-term feel good.
Yeah.
That the long-term, I think, is what people choose to neglect because, well, I feel good for 10 minutes when I'm on the video game with the boys, or I feel great for 6 hours when I get home and just start drinking.
It's denial of your reality.
And it's not
finding a pleasure.
sustainable.
No, that's what addiction is.
So
And it comes in all forms.
what would you recommend to people who are stuck in that cycle of the short-term dopamine releases to avoid the long-term problems?
You have to do the only thing that's been working is you have to learn to know thyself. No skate ipsum. You have to know thyself.
So it just all boils down to,
If you don't know you, you will always be settling for whatever you think your worth is because you don't know what it is. And oftentimes we need to know our worth and add tax, and we don't.
okay, so let me ask you this question. Is settling in terms of being addicted to something the same as being settling in terms of settling in a relationship?
It's not holding your non-negotiables. It's not having the courage or the confidence to be able to say, this is not serving me.
Just with yourself, not another person.
It doesn't require another person because what they're going to choose to do is their choice, and what you choose to do with yours is yours. Remember, it's not your situation that defines you. It reveals you to yourself. It's still there. It's always there. The way I chose to handle it shows who I am and where I am in my development. And if I'm sitting here to make myself miserable so that I can stay complacent, that's who you are. Do you want to be that, though? This is where you have to know thyself enough to go, that's not who I want to be. And sometimes rock bottom looks different for each of us.
Yeah.
And that needs to often happen because it needs to be a radical moment. It's tough. It's a tough game right now because people aren't able to do introspection. They don't even know the tools. That's why we have our guys do what they do. Like, and I've had women do it too. It's very difficult. But again, these Disney princesses and stuff, women are taught not to. And it's harder. Women blame, men shame.
Yeah, I had a mental breakdown a few years ago, and it was the moment I realized that I was the fucking problem.
It's the most empowering moment of your life. And people are terrified of it.
Yeah.
Whenever I have anybody who I'm working with, I go, I pray you're the fucking issue. And they're like, what? I'm like, if you're the problem, we can start today. But if somebody else is the problem, we have to wait for them to realize, and this could be a minute. I hope to God you're the problem, because we can start today. We can start working on it immediately.
We need to make sure we give him an accountability T-shirt before he leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you guys will love, Section 14 is the accountability challenge. It
Yeah.
removes victimhood for sure.
One more thing I had a thought of. You were talking about people living, I'm paraphrasing, people living in a cycle of addiction, for example, and people don't want to be in that cycle.
They don't know how to attack the core for
Right.
their grief cycle.
Yeah.
They're living in denial, but also they're cycling through denial through bargaining, anger, and depression pretty consistently. And when those are activated as your identity, that means the feelings that you have are open to attacks from doubt, through fear, through excuses, and through distractions. When you're living in denial, it opens the door for the whole party to come in. And if you don't have the weapons or training to fight these, you become your trauma. You become the situation. This is where people think their situation defines them.
Yeah.
No, it reveals that you are the one who doesn't know how to deal with these situations. That's why I train. I have to go in and get you because I can't just tell you this. The map says, I'm like, I see where you are on the map. I'm on my way.
Right.
Have your shoes and I'll show you how to get out. It's the only way that I've seen work because I can't do like some sort of conversation. I go, what is in the way? Let's move it together. Like we have to do that. And that's why my men are so damn successful. I see the demon in front of you. His weakness is this and this. Use your strongest attack on that point there. I'll block your left. You hit it there. Let's go. Like, he's like, that was easy. I'm like, because you know how to fight it now. He comes back. Now you know what to do. Doubt doesn't quit. Fear doesn't go away. You just get better at fighting. Like, that's it. You're just more trained. And so when you learn how to have acceptance, radical acceptance, to go through your grieving system, not recognizing I don't have to be armored up with my control mechanisms, and being able to know when doubt comes in, when fear comes in, when excuses are coming in, when distractions require moderation, I have a fighting damn chance now. This means my belief systems don't get corrupted completely. This is the warrior's way. You know, just like the Mandalorian, this is the way. And so you're right. Now I'm going to kick it back to the things that kill relationships real quick because I want to get that done. The expectations. First one was standards. You set a tone. Next one is the potential one. you could be if I'm gonna get my master's, or I'm gonna get my thing, I'm gonna start my business, or I'm gonna build a dream, or I'm gonna have a thing. And then they stop putting in effort toward it. You know, maybe they got some job just to hold us over and then got stuck. Maybe you guys got pregnant and now everything got knocked off the rails and my dream had to be put back so I can take care of you. So many different things when it gets into like the potential of what you could be or what you could do was what I was measuring our relationship on. And then that's not happening. And then we start going, I know you could, I know you could, I know you could. And then resent starts to happen. That expectation starts to kill the dynamic. Mm-hmm. The last one, and most common one, make believe. I compare you to something you never were. And I make up something that I wish you were, that you never said you were going to be, nor did we have a conversation about. You may have seen it on a TV show, or, Karen from work says that Carl's always doing the dishes, and my guy never does the dishes, so my guy should also be doing the dishes. And I want you to start doing it too. When you come home and there's dishes in the sink, no conversation has been had, and you go, damn it, Chris, why aren't these damn dishes done? And he goes, I've never done the dishes. That's not my thing. Like, well, Carl does the damn dishes. Like, who the fuck is Carl? Like, I don't even know who you're talking about. Or this TV show where you watch this guy go, I'm a prince, over the top romance. And you're like, why haven't you done that for me? And you're like, I didn't even know that was a thing either. Like, who are you comparing me to? And now people make up this 2.0 version that they like better, that now I have to defend myself against, who I never even agreed to be. Well, I just wish you would be more like that. And how come you're not doing this thing I want you to do? And why aren't you doing that thing? And I wish you were more romantic like this. And I wish you were. And then the list starts to evolve into something that I never even had a damn chance to live up to. And it kills the relationship because now there's a straw man argument against the entire dynamic of I'm not good enough because you keep adding things on that I never even knew about. Most common killer of relationships.
All of that could be avoided just by going, hey, babe, I saw this today in a commercial. Can we try that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It also could be killed with the expectations list that we talk about when you first start dating somebody. Mm-hmm. Having your expectations laid out in writing so that in the event that there's a what if, we already know because we had these discussions in the beginning.
Okay, I just had a whole train of thought. So those set expectations, those are preparation for the relationship, right? And we just had a whole conversation because you read the Dalai Lama quote and you were like, that is preparation. You're getting ready to walk. You're getting ready to talk. You're getting ready for school. There is zero preparation happening for anything in society right now. Our parents are not parents.
No.
We're very reactive also.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not responding.
We talk about that constantly.
Yeah.
The difference between react and respond.
There's no preparations for healthy relationship. There's no preparation for getting married.
Right. Well, that's because all of that has been destroyed.
You want to hear a funny thing? So a plug for Anthony Dahlman Jones. He's one of my mentors also. He's written like 6 psychology books and he's been doing it for like 50 years. He was telling me he had the great idea for marriages where he's been doing therapy for people for like so long. He's like, there's a problem. We got to make it so we can help these marriages have a chance. So he had a 4-part system. It included 2, like, let's know each other and what our roles are sessions. 1 with a pastor in the relationship, part of what does it mean to be in the relationship, for like the religious aspect or whatever it would be, or the spiritual aspect. And then going into a tax attorney to explain, like, what does the finances look like and what do those obligations look like? And so it was supposed to say, let's prep them for marriage so they know what it looks like. In the first 2 sessions, it gets into like, okay, so who's going to pay for what? Who's going to clean what? Who's going to do this thing? Who's responsible for this? And all of these engaged couples would be like, well, I'm not doing that. Well, I thought you were going to do that. Well, why would I do that? That's your job. Like, that's not going to be my job. We never even talked about that. And they would get into conflict in these parts to try to figure that out. So they'd have to go through all of these phases so they could understand each part. Out of like, he had said like 100 people. Do you know how many couples made it to the attorney?
None.
We
did all that shit while we were courting before we actually started dating.
Yeah.
Well played. Most don't even know to.
Right. That's why we have a successful podcast.
Correctamundo. You're willing to do the difficult conversations without turning it into conflict.
Right. Well, when you're in love and things are new and exciting and you have those conversations, there's a lot more grace to be had.
Way more.
Okay, I want to go back to something. When you were talking about depreciating beauty because of women getting older, and you were talking about men getting better as we age, we reach our prime around 40, 50 years old because we're at the optimum, right?
Sure.
You said that women in college are dating on potential, right? Because what he could possibly be.
Well, they're dating up more often than not.
Okay,
They're dating more established guys in college.
right. They're dating men who are older.
Correct.
Right. Okay, so we have an age gap. And people always want to know about our age gap and they always want to talk about it. I'm 43. I've got 10 years on her.
Okay.
So do you think that this mindset contributes to the age gap? We've always called it maturity because we reach our stride at 40 years old. Things are not quite as funny as they used to be. I'm still going to laugh at a fart joke, but like we become a lot more serious in life when we reach that 40, 50. Like you said, we're in our prime.
Sure.
They are in their prime when they're in college age, early 20s.
30s.
Right. We're into their 30s.
Early 30s is women's prime.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that makes sense.
Correct.
That there is age gap relationships like that. So do you think that, like, what is your opinion on that? Let's just do that so that I'm not
My
putting
personal,
thoughts in
my
you.
subjective opinion,
Yeah.
it's more of a personal preference thing because there are also like there's great women and so like there are good women. I just think that the way society is pushing, it's making it more of the diamonds in the rough versus the norm. And ladies are, like I said, the gaslighting your introspection is a real problem right now because women can't grow with that system. They have their own self-sabotage in place. Well, this means, and this is where like it's kind of them shooting themselves in the foot. There's a generation of women who think that their status, their power, their finances, their achievements, their degree is what guys are looking for. This generation of women, usually in our range, are kind of fucked right now.
No, I agree.
They're
100%.
fucked, and they fucked themselves, but not their fault. They were taught that's what you need to do.
Right.
And when they start doing guy stuff and expecting a guy to like it, we wanted the nurture, the nice, you didn't see on the women's list. I'm like, make some fucking money, get a good degree,
Be a boss babe.
be a boss babe, be mean and sassy. Like none of the men had any of that criteria on their list. We didn't require any of that. So when a girl comes in and goes, check out my career, check out my PhD, check out my finances, we're like, cool. Like, well, I mean, do I get a cut of that? Well, no, it's mine. Well, then what the fuck do I care?
Right. Okay, so what do you say? Because this is going to come up. Somebody's going to be like, well, we don't do that for men. We do it for us.
Which is good. This is why those women are alone.
That's why I was alone.
You do it for you, well, then you'll be with you.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's what you must want. But listen, there's a lot of depression flowing into this age range, and there's a lot of happy cats.
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
A lot of happy cats that got good homes now because you have a lot of women who have aged out of the beauty thing and never learned any of the skills to court a good man. They were too busy on their career, and the good guys they're not looking for that. We're not looking for a competitor. I want the nurture and the nice and the fun and the kind and the sweet and the warm. I want the Lois Lane. I Superman all day. I don't need to come home to Supergirl who wants to fight. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, I was hunting all day. I don't want to come home to this. And so those girls they're struggling. They're super, and even the millionaires and the self-made women and the lawyers and the doctors, they're like, I can't find a guy. Well, you didn't build any of the things that we want. And so a good guy is going to look for a girl who's going to be like just the encourager and I got your back and I'll take care of these things. And so those guys are going to be looking for the ones who aren't corrupted by the absolute of your success is why we choose you. Listen, ladies, you're hurting yourselves. We don't like it either. Just so you know, the guys are not pumped about this. We don't like it either. This is not exciting for us. Like a huge group of women have just become competitors, which I don't mind. We don't mind the competition. Happily. We've been competing since men have been men. No problem. I'm not threatened. But don't think that I choose you because you're trying to be a threat.
So what do you say about the women who say that they are in their masculine because all they're finding is feminine ass men?
Because that's what they own. That's the ones they allow in. They see a strong man as a competitor and
Or as
not
a
as a
threat.
companion.
That's what I was thinking.
What do they say, as a friend? Would you
As a
threat.
threat.
Oh, as a threat. Again, you're a competitor, not companion. They don't know how to treat a good man. They don't know how to respect a man. They don't know how. You don't have the tools that makes it worthy to have one, so you'll blame them. That's you. You reveal you to yourself. They prioritize something that is going to be superficial, and they live in a lifestyle that reflects that. Where's the connection to somebody who only needs to achieve to get love?
So I was that woman. I lived in that mindset. I didn't view men as competitors.
How did you see it?
I viewed it as, if I am not this way, I'm going to be taken advantage of. I'm going to be hurt. I viewed men as threats.
Threats. Okay. Again,
So it wasn't, when I think of a competitor, I'm thinking I am competing in something that I have a chance of actually winning in.
you don't have a chance to win.
Right. When it comes to trying to be a man as a woman, you're right, I don't.
You won't. You
So
won't. You
I
can't
didn't
win.
view it as competition.
Yeah, but it is subconsciously still going to be a versus.
Like a life to death versus, not
Still a versus.
like a,
It's not together.
what is it?
It's
Like,
survival, it's protection, it's safety, security, and you're not looking at men to be able to be that because they are not safe. They are not secure. They are bad. And if you have a belief system that something is bad, you will reject even the good.
Right.
This is belief systems, and you were corrupted by something to make it so a belief system was in there to make it so you believe men are bad. But you have to, you're like, filter is on. The filters that we use for our beliefs is like, this is bad and that's bad and there's another bad one. And you start creating regular things, like a guy just sitting like this becomes bad because he's man spreading. You're judgmental and you're shaming just being. Are there bad guys? There are bad guys. We don't like them either. We're not representing bad guys. We stop bad guys. Same team. But we're not them because we're strong, confident, masculine.
Right.
Because we are the ones who stop the bad ones. But you shame and judge and blame and guilt the good ones and then wonder why you won't be chosen.
Right.
You're wearing the spiky armor and wonder why no one wants to give you a hug.
Oh, 100%.
And it's all their fault.
That they claim. Women claim that. Yeah.
No, it's all men's fault. Yeah, they did this. They're the reason I have to wear spiky armor. And then they're alone. I hope you love cats.
I would go as far to say, in all reality, it was a woman who placed that on you.
Could be. Well, internal stuff for your stuff, it is women stuff. The external,
Right.
there's usually a guy involved.
Well,
There was something that, there's some dude
So-
did some bullshit. Could even be dad stuff. Like dad wasn't there to protect me. There's some guy dropped the ball somewhere.
I know women who grew up in household with both parents, and the man was just very docile and passive.
That's
And
how you
she
treat
grew
me.
up with that same mindset of fuck all men, you're all a threat or you're a pussy.
That's because dad never showed how to be respected and mom never taught how to respect a man. The dynamic was broken. Remember, Beauty and the Beast. Why did she choose him? Did he have potential? Was he a good guy? Was there something there that was why dad was chosen? And then what happened to dad to make him so broken down? He's in prison. That's what dad is? That's what a man is? Remember, subconsciously when people are married, this is a subconscious thing as a norm. People start taking on the traits of the marriage from their parents subconsciously. They can be completely different through like dating and then to engagement. As soon as a ring hits, they subconsciously start doing what they believe marriage means. And they go off of what they've seen the most.
Right.
Generally parents, and it doesn't matter gender. Like a female can be like most connected with father, and they start taking on the traits of dad. And a guy can be raised by mom or most connected to mom because dad was not good, and be like take on the traits of mother. But then we always seem to marry the opposite one. And so you're like, oh man, I just married dad. He's mean, controlling. He's dominating. He puts me down. He calls names. Well, that's what my girl is doing. I married dad. damn it, I became my mom. What the hell? It's a subconscious thing. And if we don't have awareness, we become our parents. Also, how much do you want to think about your parents having sex? Oh, I don't want to think about my parents having sex. And now you have a lot of marriages without sex. It takes time. It's a subconscious change. This isn't like time to be my dad, time to be my.
Yeah.
It's subconscious. You do what is marriage. That's what we do. What is marriage? And you have to go only off of what you know. So it's a really difficult game for people to play that. But these curses are put on us. They're put on us. Something put them in there, and we may not have had the defense or awareness to like block it or to stop it. We may not have had it. And so it became part of our belief system and our identity because I didn't know the difference, which is why I have to gut you out to go know thyself, because most of the stuff, high majority, isn't even yours. And if we're going to try and live a life of authenticity, we have to be able to challenge, is that even mine to begin with? And a majority of it is not. And this is where your confidence, your freedom, and your ability to hold your non-negotiables, your standards, your boundaries become more apparent. And you're able to have a healthier dynamic because you know when you're in one that's not, I don't have to be. But I also know what to look for when I'm finding one.
All of that dark work that we talked about in episode 11.5 is what he just explained. Because you did all of that before you met me. Like, you gave up all of it. Everything that you were taught, everything that you believed marriage and relationships to be, the fuck all men, I can do it by myself, I don't need a man, like, I'm gonna be the boss bitch, and all of that shit you let go of before we really became a thing.
The courage to do that. The bravery to go, I will defy my entire belief system. How much certainty did you have if you abandon your entire belief system?
Oh, I had absolutely none.
Zero.
I had no idea where my life was going.
The courage to say, I will go into the unknown and I will follow you into something I do not have reassurance, safety, security, except I know that you will be there with me. That's all I have. The courage to do that, admirable. Like props to you to say, I will go in and do what I do not know. And I will go in because it has potential to be good. And I will trust you. And I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if it'll be better. I don't know if it'll be worse. I don't know. But I will abandon all that I do just for the damn chance that it could be. Courageous. And so any woman who wants to hold on to their negative belief system because it's the only protection they seem to have, like,
How's that working for you?
Yeah.
How's that served you up until now?
oh,
That's a big question for us. I always ask everybody when they bring me problems, I'm like, how is it serving you?
yeah.
Because your life has been your belief system until right now.
Yeah. We'll challenge everything.
Yep.
Reveal you to yourself.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that was the end of part 3, Warriors Way mindset with Rick E.
I just want to say thank you guys. If you guys have made it through all of this stuff, first off, you're a legend. And I appreciate you guys for the fortitude to make it through what we've just done. I do encourage you also go back through or also check out my other stuff too, because I go hard like this with multiple people. And I take other experts in all these other fields and I challenge them. They challenge me. Check it out, Battlefield of the Mind. You guys can check out my podcast. I'd love to have you guys also do stuff with me there.
Absolutely.
And being able to just make more of these conversations available to people. Also, for any guys out there struggling, this isn't therapy. This isn't counseling. It's warrior fucking training. You do not have to be alone. Reach out. If you really want transformation, we do warrior training, not counseling. We will teach you the skills and abilities to be the man you're meant to be. If you're looking for that, it exists. Just have the damn courage and the humility to hit a button to have a phone call with me. I'll talk to you, and then we'll see if we're a match for what it is you're looking to do. But if you're going to stay in your old ways, you're going to be where you've always been. But if you're looking for something more, something better, and you want to exponentially grow, this is the way.
All right, guys. As always, remember you are the author of your own life,
So grab a pen.
and we will see you on the next one.